Hey guys, Goggles here. Just quick update video. Working on a 68 Firebird body. Masked off, painted up. That is actually red. Comes up as pink in the camera, but it is red. Lower half, if it's masked off, this is the white body that comes with the Auto World Deluxe Pit Kit, Thunderjet Ultra G. They had a deal on these, so I got one, even though I already have a couple of other Firebirds. I got the silver and black one, and I've got an original Aurora Tough Ones. Reason I went with this, I need a car that meets Trans Am, SCCA Trans Am bodies. Running with East Coast Outlaws this Saturday. They're doing the TFX class, which I'm trying to open one-handed here. This ought to be entertaining. Sorry for the camera work. It's this guy here. This is a basically a spec racer class, just the way it is. And they want those type of bodies for this weekend's race. So we've got decals. I painted this last night and I ended up having to redo it. Tried to clear it earlier. The clear reacted with the paint underneath. Had to strip it all off, start again. And it looks like as it's drying, it's turning to a flat finish. So I'm going to have to do a clear gloss over it. Apply the decals and clear gloss over it again. So Auto World did offer this car pre-done. This is the being painted up as the Jerry Titus 1969. It's a 68 body, but 69 Trans Am Firebird. The other choices I have, if somebody ends up running one of those, I've got the Chaparral, 70 Chaparral Camaro. I've got the 70 Parnelli Jones Mustang. I've got the Dan Gurney AAR Cuda. Sam Posey Challenger, the 67 Dan Gertie Mercury Cougar, and the 67 AJ Foyt Mercury Cougar. Those are my choices. My last choice was going to be the GTO. I was going to number it number 49, and I was going to do the Great Ghost. However, I found out several other people have thought about doing that, so somebody's going to do it. We don't need a whole field of them, so I'm hoping nobody does the Jerry Titus Firebird. And as I just realized, I've also got the Mark Donahue 68 Camaro. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, possibly 9 choices of bodies to run on this chassis this weekend. The other class I'm going to run with them is called Hobby Stock, and basically it should be a stock skinny tire class, Thunderjet original. It says it's got to be a copper chassis, original pickup, skinny tires, can be single flange or double flange wheels, but it has to be skinny tires. It has to be 16 ohm or higher. 2-limb gray tip original Thunderjet armature, and it's got to be original Thunderjet magnets, ceramic, any body. So basically I'm going to go through my collection of stock cars, pick the one that's the fastest on Donnybrook on the straightaway, and then I'll run that. So I've got a few to choose from. I've got and the other thing is I can't use the tough ones because of the magnets and the wheels that are on it, and also it doesn't have copper plates. They want copper chassis. So we've got a few to pick from here. This could be the one. This is the Galaxy convertible. Dune buggies are not allowed. I'll have to see if one of these is pretty quick. If so, we'll use that. Worst case scenario, I unmodify the E-Fray car or the super stock Fray car. Can't use the Fray body, but I can switch out back to the stock pieces fairly easily. So that's a possibility. They're not running either of these classes this weekend. There's another class they're running in between. They call Grand National, which is essentially stock car, but not Magna Traction. This is a Magna Traction body on an Auto World X Traction chassis, but it would be in the spirit of this, and it would be T-Jet bodies. I don't have any stock car T-Jet bodies, except for, I think I got an original Dodge Charger. But other than that, not planning on entering that class this weekend. So I'm going to do 2 out of 3. Last weekend I raced with MARC. And I ran this guy in open weighted. They had an IROC race open weighted before that. They supplied the cars. I ran this in open weighted. I swapped my traction magnets back over and was promptly told, you can't run that in super stock. Your magnets are not ceramic. Well, as I found out, that is correct. This is a V-Spec, Viper V-Spec V1. And these are Pro 4 ceramic grade polymer magnets. They not allowing polymer in that class. So I couldn't run this car. Several guys offered me cars to borrow. I attempted doing some basically practice with them. Wasn't having any luck. So I opted not to enter that race. And for an FYI, the IROC race, I finished dead last. Where 10 of us entered in the race. 2 guys got there late. They couldn't get in to the race. It was too late into the race. They stayed and they ran the open weighted with car U supply, and that limit made 12 guys. And guess who finished dead last again? I don't get it. I used to be pretty good at this. Maybe I've been gone too long. I don't know. I did get a clarification on the Wizard Storm with the 2.8 ohm armature. Even though it's the wrong color according to the rules, they will allow it. So this car come March should be legal. Although talking to the tech inspector, who I've known for years, is an old friend. He was with the club back in the old days. And he said, well, if you put that through tech, I would allow it, but you're not going to be competitive. I wouldn't run it, is what he said. I'm just thinking to myself, great. So I'll try with that come March. And I don't know, next year during their rules meeting, I'll be able to attend. I've done 4 races with them. According to the rule book, I can vote on changes. I may want to try to implement some changes since I did pay my my dues. So I'm a fully paid member. But I don't know. Maybe I could try to get an entry-level class. They don't want to run pancake motored cars. So my thought was Auto World Super 3. They're cheap. It's a magnet car. They're pretty quick in stock form. A little tough to handle. You'd have to do maybe some slip-on silicone tires, lower them a little bit. Do a stock hard body class, NASCAR, something like that. Don't like that? AFX Mega G Plus. Why not? Why not those? These are a little more expensive, but you know they're affordable. Run them with Parma controllers. Don't like that? Wizard Storm. Do a stock one. Stock ones are $40 with the 45 with the body, I think, because you can get a hard body. Run a completely stock class for that, all by itself. The other thought. Now this is an original Tomy turbo chassis. The Bulldog chassis is based on this. A couple of improvements. Those are also affordable. Do a Bulldog class. Inline motor, pretty quick, and affordable. You want to make it all even? Parma controller. Brand new ones are $39.95. And you can get them anywhere from 1 ohm all the way up to 90 ohm. And just go with 45 or 35, whichever works best with your car, and deal with that. Why do you have to spend hundreds of dollars on a controller when this works perfectly fine? Don't get it. The other thing I wanted to talk to them about implementing, because this past weekend we had one track have power issues. The binding posts on one of the lanes, the wires on the back had loosened up. Nobody had done any maintenance to the track, and it basically loosened up, vibrated loose, and people were having problems in a particular lane with controllers. Tightened it up, everything was fine. The next race, they went to go do super stock. One of the guys was doing practice, hooked his controller up wrong because it was different from this. It was the way the order of the clips used to be on this track that they insisted I had to change the order on. Panels on here used to be black, white, red, and that's how that other track was. The standard they claim in the rule book, it's got to be white, black, red, so that people don't hook up wrong, and it's got to be clearly marked. Well, it was clearly marked, but he wasn't paying attention. He hooked up his controller, blew up the fuse in his controller, got lucky he didn't blow up his controller. Need something simple, as you see the phono jack next to the alligator clips there on the binding posts. In the old days, when we had these, there was a phono jack. It would plug in. Controller didn't care. It's a rheostat. Today's are all electronic. You could fry them. So, good idea so you don't hook up wrong, but this would give you a quick jolt, quick short across the terminals of the track. Power supply would take it. I'm sure it didn't like it, but it would take it if the power was on. Can't do that with electronic. What can you do? Well, there's some 1/32 scale guys in the Northeast that are doing microphone XLR 3-prong Canon jacks. You got your same 3 wires that are wired the same way, like on that, but instead of being in line and causing a short, they're separated, 3 separate, like the binding posts. Focus. However, they're all wired a certain way, so you plug in, it locks in. You can't yank the cord out. You can't hook up wrong as long as everybody's agreed to the standard of how the tracks will be wired to said plug. And you won't blow up your you know, $200 to $600 controller, depending upon what brand you decided to go with. Makes sense to me. Why they wouldn't go that standard, no idea. So, gonna suggest that. Gonna suggest an entry-level class. Gonna suggest removing cars that you can't get cars or parts for from certain classes, which they said they were going to do with the BSRT G-Jet. There's a whole section still in the rule book, and it's still an eligible chassis in other classes, but nobody's running them because you can't get the parts. The other car that are in like 6 of those classes is the Wizard Storm. You can run it, but it's not competitive because they've screwed with these things so much. So give it its own class. Take it out of those, give it its own class. Make it a spec racer class. Modified. They have modified and poly modified. They're essentially the same, other than the difference is one is unlimited on the armature rating and the other one is the minimum rating. Otherwise, it's essentially the same class. Super stock. It's essentially the same class as spec racer. The only difference is the magnets. Well, here's the kicker. Viper doesn't sell a V1 or a V3 with ceramic magnets as stock. You got to buy them separate. By the time you're done buying the ceramic motor and traction magnets, it's $60. That's what I paid for the V-Spec car. Why would I do that? It's crazy. Consolidate, simplify. Get too many classes. You got some you don't even run. And you got one in the rule book that is called Gravity class, which is essentially for the old Riggins. Super 3s, or Super 2s, I'm sorry. Tyco Pro. I got a ton of them. I'm sure everybody else does. Use them. Run them. Use the class. I don't get it. So, yeah, another poor showing on the weekend. Kind of disappointing. I quit while I was behind. Gonna run with this other club Saturday. Hopefully I'll have that done in time. Yeah, it is going to a flat finish, so I'm gonna have to clear coat it, decal it after the clear coat's dry, wait for the decals to set and dry, and then clear coat the whole thing. Then I gotta install the grill and the rear bumper and put it on this guy. And that's the plan. And if I don't do well in the 2 classes I'm going to run with these guys, with the TFX, and with one of my bone stock ones, then that's probably the last I'm going to run with those guys. I haven't paid a membership fee with them yet. I only run like 2 races with them, paid my race entrance fee, and that's about all I've done with those guys. So, it gets to the point where this is supposed to be fun. Yeah, I get it, competitive, but it's supposed to be fun. If it's not fun, what's the point? So, anyway, guys, rant over. That's what we've been up to this week. Yeah. So, gonna do another one, like I say, another race with the East Coast Outlaws on the 20th, and then from that day onward, the week after, a week of Christmas, I'm on vacation, and my plan at that point is to fix a couple of the track joints on Donnybrook. I got more of the TFX track repair clips that work great, so that should help, and get that ready for the January 10th race here, and hopefully we get a decent turnout, but that's next month. Right now I'm kind of just focused on that guy. And then, yeah. And I don't believe I'm going to bring my electronic controller for these cars. I'm going to bring a 60 ohm and a 90 ohm Parma, and that's what I'm going to run, because I know those will work with these cars fine. I don't think I'll need the 120 ohm, but that's where we're at. Oh, and I never had to use the cooling box that I built, because I didn't have a car in the magnet class running quick enough, because in the open weighted class they run at 12 volts. So anyway, guys, sorry for the unsteady camera work. I'm on my phone, and yeah, I've got some buildings and people I gotta stick down better. Right now the buildings are just kind of sitting there, as is the hay. Probably going to remove the hay bales on the edges of the track, and either that or I'll glue them down. I'm not sure yet. One of the two. The really fast cars, when they catch air, they've been crashing into the buildings. So aside from like putting Lexan barriers the whole width of the track all the way around, which is stupid, I'm gonna have to tape some buildings down. Yeah, that's gonna be my project on my Christmas vacation. Except for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, of course. Family takes precedence. So that's where we're at. And oh, this guy, I did throw some used tires in there. Excuse me, and I did find a Hot Wheels Richard Petty Charger, 73 to 75, somewhere in there, that I had kicking around for years. So goes good on the back of the Mopar truck, I thought. So anyway, rambling, and that's where we're at for the update this week. Sorry, no live stream or no track racing or practice or anything this week. Just kind of been thinking about what I'm gonna do next, after January 10th and whatnot. If these guys aren't receptive to new ideas and whatnot, I'm out. I'm not renewing my dues. I'll start my own club the way I want to run it, with people, and call it a day. But as it stands right now, this is Goggles signing off.